consists of all the equipment used in anchoring. This includes the anchors, anchor cables or chain, connecting devices, and the anchor windlass. This topic discusses these items and their nomenclature. An anchor works like a pickaxe. When the pick is driven into the ground, it takes a great deal of force to pull it loose with a straight pull on the handle. However, by lifting the handle, a leverage is obtained which breaks it free. In the same way, the anchor holds because the anchor chain or cable causes the pull on the anchor to be in line with its shank. When it is desired to break the anchor free, the chain is taken in and this lifts the shank of the anchor and gives the leverage needed to loosen the anchor's hold. The primary function of an anchor is to hold the ship against the current and wind. On landing craft, stern anchors are also used to prevent broaching on the beach and to assist in retracting from the beach. Note, all vessels, 380 tons and over, must carry a spare bow anchor. Seagoing tugs must carry a kedge anchor. The general rule is 5 to 7 times as much line as the depth of water plus the distance from the surface of the water to where the anchor will attach to the bow. Scope is the term of shots or length of chain/anchor line in the water when anchoring. Ring, shackle. Device used to shackle the anchor chain to the shank of the anchor. The ring is secured to the top of the shank with a riveted pin. Shank. The long center part of the anchor running between the ring and the crown. Crown. The rounded lower section of the anchor to which the shank is secured. The shank is fitted to the crown with a pivot or ball and socket joint that allows a movement from 30° to 45° either way. Arms. The parts that extend from each side of the crown. Throat. The inner curved part of an arm where it joins the shank. Fluke or palm. The broad shield part of the anchor that extends upward from the arms. Blade. That part of the arm extending outward below the fluke. Bill or pea. Tip of the palm or fluke. Ring, shackle. Shank. Crown. Arms. Throat. Fluke or palm. Blade. Bill or pea. Modern anchor chain is made of die-lock chain with studs. The size of the link is designated by its diameter, called wire diameter. The Federal Supply Catalog lists standard sizes from 3/4 inch to 4 3/4 inches. Wire diameter is measured at the end and a little above the centerline of the link. The length of a standard link is 6 times its diameter and width is 3.6 times its diameter. All links are studded, that is, a solid piece is forged in the center of the link. Studs prevent the chain from kinking and the links from pounding on adjacent links. They also further strengthen the chain up to 15%. A chain is made up of many parts besides links. A variety of equipment is required to use and maintain the chain. The lengths of chain that are connected to make up the ship's anchor chains are called shots. A standard shot is 15 fathoms. A chain is made up of many parts besides links. A variety of equipment is required to use and maintain the chain. The lengths of chain that are connected to make up the ship's anchor chains are called shots. A standard shot is 15 fathoms, 90 feet, long. Shots of anchor chain are joined by a detachable link. The detachable link consists of a C-shaped link with 2 coupling plates which form one side and stud of the link. A taper pin holds the parts together and is locked in place at the large end by a lead plug. Detachable link parts are not interchangeable. Bending shackles are used to attach the anchor to the chain. Furnished as part of the outboard swivel shot, chain swivels reduce kinking or twisting of the anchor chain. Standard outboard swivel shots consist of detachable links, swivel, end link, and bending shackle. They are used on most vessels to attach the anchor chain to the anchor. These shots vary in length up to approximately 6.5 fathoms and are also termed bending shots. The taper pin in the detachable link, located in the outboard swivel shot, is additionally secured with a wire locking clip. An anchor cable is an assembly of a number of individual units properly secured together. These units are connected to the anchor by means of a swivel piece made up of shackles, swivels, and special links. For the safety of every ship, the ship's officers and the bosun must know at all times the scope or how much anchor chain has been paid out. To make this information quickly available, a system of chain markings is used. Shots of anchor chain are joined by a detachable link. The detachable link consists of a C-shaped link with two coupling plates which form one side and stud of the link. A taper pin holds the parts together and is locked in place at the large end by a lead plug. Detachable link parts are not interchangeable. Therefore, matching numbers are stamped on the C-link and on each coupling plate to ensure identification and proper assembly. You will save time and trouble when trying to match these parts if you disassemble only one link at a time and clean, slush, and reassemble it before disassembling another. When reassembling a detachable link, make sure the taper pin is seated securely. This is done by driving it in with a punch and hammer before inserting the lead plug over the large end of the pin. Detachable link toolbox sets contain tools, including spare taper pins and lot plugs, for assembling and disassembling links and detachable end links. Detachable link. It consists of half link, stud, locking pin. 1 nautical mile, international. An international nautical mile is defined as 1852 meters. An approximation of an arc minute simplified to 1852 meters in 1929. 1 meter equals 3.2084 feet. 1 shot equals 27.432 meters. 1 fathom equals 1.8288 meters. 1 shackle, shot, equals 15 fathoms equals 90 feet equals 27.432 meters. 1 cable equals 185.2 meters. 1 fathom equals 6 feet. 1 cable length equals 100 fathom. 1 nanometer equals 10 cable. 3 nanometers equals 1 league. The anchor windlass is installed on vessels primarily for handling and securing the anchor and anchor chain. Windlasses are provided with capstans or catheads, which are used for handling mooring lines when docking and undocking. There are two general types of windlasses installed aboard Army harbor craft. These are the horizontal shaft windlass and the vertical shaft windlass. This type of windlass is usually a self-contained unit with the windlass and windlass motor mounted on the same bedplate. This type of windlass is found on tugs and barges. With the vertical shaft windlass, the power source is located below the deck with only the wildcat and capstan showing above the deck. Parts of a winch: hawse pipe, chain stopper, anchor chain, gypsy wheel, dog clutch, clutch lever, shaft, brake for winch, drum, wrapping, drum, storage, gear, box, riding powel. Hawse pipe. Openings in the eyes of forward part of the ship where the shank of the anchor is stowed. Buckler plate. A heavy steel plate that is dogged down by butterfly nuts when the vessel is at sea. The buckler plate covers the hawsepipe opening on deck and prevents water from rushing up the hawsepipe and spilling on deck. Riding chock. A metal fairlead for the anchor chain. It prevents the chain from fouling on deck and also holds the riding pawl. During daylight hours, as soon as the anchor hits the bottom, raise the anchor ball. Next, raise the union jack and shift the national ensign from the gaff to the flagstaff. During hours of darkness or restricted visibility, as soon as the anchor hits the bottom, turn on the anchor lights and shut off the navigation lights. Secure the brake. Use the anchor bar or a valve wrench to set up on the brake. Replace the stopper. After the brake has been set up, then hook up the devil's claw and secure the stopper. This will aid in holding the anchor and take some of the strain from the brake. Close the riding pawl. Riding pawl. A safety stopper that works like a rocket on the links of the chain. It is lifted up to the open position when the anchor chain is run out. When heaving the chain in, the pawl is closed or dropped in the after side of the riding chock. The pawl bounces over the incoming chain. However, if an emergency occurs, such as the wildcat jumping out of gear, the pawl will catch on a link of the anchor chain and hold the chain and keep it from running out. Chain stopper. A turnbuckle inserted in a short section of chain with a pelican hook or a devil's claw attached to one end and a shackle on the other end. The stopper chain is screwed at the base of the windlass. In operation, the devil's claws are used when the vessel is setting out to sea. The claws are put on a link of the chain and the turnbuckle is set up, acting as a permanent stopper. On some ships, a pelican hook is used. Wildcat. A sprocket wheel in the windlass with indentations for the links of the anchor chain. The wildcat, when engaged, either hauls in or pays out the anchor chain. When disengaged, the wildcat turns freely and the only control of the anchor chain is the friction brake. Friction brake. A band which bears on a flywheel. By tightening up on the band by means of the brake handle, the wildcat can be controlled. Locking ring. A device, with pigeonholes, into which a bar is placed to lock the wildcat to the hoisting gear of the engine. The locking ring is usually turned forward to disengage the wildcat and turned aft to engage it. On the capstan, the wildcat is engaged or disengaged by turning the capstan barrel cover. Parts of vertical shaft windlass. Drum cover. Clutch control knob. Capstan drum. Brake band. Wildcat. Windlass brake handle. Drum controller handle. Parts of a winch. 1. Main shaft. 2. Gearbox. 3. Electric motor. 4. Warping drum. 5. Drum, storage part. 6. Drum, working part. 7. Gypsy wheel. 8. Control lever for the band brake. Bearing. Sliding claw. Fixed claw. Reporting of anchor position after dropping. Seated anchor. Anchor at short stay. Anchor up and down. Anchor away. Anchor in sight. Anchor at water edge. Anchor hawse.
On a ship comprises of the following. The shank is the stem of the anchor. When pulled, it will set the anchor in the direction of the pull. The crown connects the various parts of a modern anchor. The crown unit is pivoted to the shank so that it can swing from 45 degrees to either sides of the shank. Flukes are long and heavy anchoring arms with projecting shoulders at their base that allows the anchor to dig into the seabed. The anchor windlass is a deck machinery which drops or lifts the anchor of the ship by letting go or winding the anchor chain. The windlass drives the gypsy head and the anchor chain resting on it. The hawsepipe is a passage in the ship's deck which carries the chain to the anchor and also acts as the anchor securing point. The hawsepipe also consists of water spray hose which washes the dirt and mud on the anchor and the chain as it is heaved up. If anchor washing is not available due to some reasons, use a portable handheld pipe to wash the chain and the anchor. The anchor chain travels through the spurling pipe to the gypsy drum from the chain locker. The chain locker is a room below the mooring deck which is used to store the anchor chain. Dog clutch allows the windlass to connect or disconnect the gypsy drum from the motor to heave or lower the anchor. Brake assembly is provided with an operating wheel to control the lowering of the anchor chain. Chain stopper, also known as the cable stopper, is fitted to secure the anchor chain when riding at anchor, thereby relieving the strain on the windlass. It is also used for securing the anchor in the house position in the hawsepipe. The riding powell, which is a small rotating drum forward of the gypsy wheel, is used to carry the chain into the hawsepipe. Windlasses found on board ships these days are driven directly by electric motors or by pressurized hydraulic oil. Hence, an electric or hydraulic motor is provided. An anchor can be lowered by two methods: by using windlass power, known as walkback, by using gravity, known as let go. Walkback method of anchoring is recommended and used mostly on vessels above 100,000 gross tonnage. The cable is paid out using the windlass at a fixed speed. Upon approaching the anchoring position, the speed on the ground of the vessel is brought gradually to zero and the anchor is lowered in the water. This method is usually of longer duration than the let go method. However, it provides shipmaster with better control over the amount of cable paid and the weight upon the windlass. Let go method is used in a wide range of vessels, from smaller craft and pleasure yachts to large ships with tonnage varying up to 100,000 gross tonnage. The principle followed in this method is to let go or let the anchor slip with the cable under its own weight from the hawsepipe. The weight on the cable, windlass brake holding power, and the momentum of the vessel are factors to be controlled by the ship's crew to ensure the anchor digs in and the cable is subsequently laid to extend backwards. For any of the above methods, first ensure to open the lashing and remove the chain stopper from the anchor chain. A locking arrangement is also provided for the chain stopper to avoid the guillotine bar from falling into place, which can damage the winch when the anchoring is in operation.